what we're doing. So, solving systems by substitution. So last week we did systems by graphing. So when we were graphing, the solution we found it where the two lines cross, right? So our solution to a system is always in the form of an ordered pair. But we don't always have to graph them. And graphing isn't always the best method anyway, because, you know, if our answers are fractions or decimals or like really big numbers, then they're not going to fit on a graph nicely, right? So we have a couple ways algebraically to do them. This week we're going to concentrate on solving systems by substitution. And it's kind of just what it says. It's like we're going to substitute one of the equations in for the variable of the other one. So we're going to substitute the y equals. So it's the part that says y equals is what we're going to move and substitute into the y of the second equation. We'll solve for x. Once we get what x is, we'll plug it back in to one of the equations to find out what the y is. Write our solution in the format of an ordered pair with y and with x and y. Then you're going to plug it in and check it to one of the equations. So whatever equation you didn't use to solve for your y, you're going to plug it in just to check it, make sure it works in that one too. So let's actually do it so it makes more sense. So first step was substitute the y equals into the second equation. So I'm going to take this part and I'm going to put it in place of the y on the second equation.
So you're just flipping it.
So I'm going to put this in here. So it's going to be 8x minus 22 equals negative 7x plus 8. Okay. Since they're both equal to y, then they have to be equal to each other. Is basically what that's kind of representing there. Now we just pull out our old algebra tricks. This is, you know,
Plus 22.
a simple solve the equation. I'm going to move the variable first. Actually, what I'm going to do, okay, so I'm going to move the 7 over, right? So that's going to cancel there. So this is going to be 15x minus 22 equals 8. Now I'm going to move the 22. So we'll have 15x equals 30. And then what? Divide by 15. So x equals positive 2. So we've done step 2, solve for x. Now we're going to take that and substitute it back into one of the equations to solve for y. It really doesn't matter which one you use. You can either use the first equation or the second one.
You're going to get different answers for that?
No, you'll get the same thing regardless. In this one, it doesn't really look like it makes much difference to me. Sometimes one equation will be significantly easier to substitute into than the other. But this one, they look both about the same. So I'm just going to do the first one. So I'm just rewriting it.
Yeah, because one has a negative.
Then,
They both have negative.
then substitute in for the x. So put the x in there. Put the 2 in there for the x and simplify to find out what y is. Good morning. Uh-huh. Yeah, she actually is over in Mrs. Dodson's room right now. Can you call over there? It's 111. Uh-huh. Bye-bye. Okay, so let's see. So I've got 8 times 2 minus 22. 16 minus 22. So what does that mean x or y is?
Y equals -6.
Negative 6. Okay, everybody see that? Okay, so write your answer now. How are you going to write it? Okay, so we have to write the 2 and then negative 6. Now the last thing is just to check it. So we used the first equation to help us solve, right, for the y. So to check it, we're going to use the second equation. So just in place of the y, you put negative 6. And then in place of the x, put the 2. This is just like we were doing when we were checking with the graphing ones. So negative 14 plus 8. It is. So it does check.
Oh my god.
It is.
So we're pretty much graphing without the graphing part.
We're getting the solution without graphing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So they found a way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Okay. So let's look at one more. I'm going to flip the page because I won't have enough room. Y equals 6x plus 14, and y equals x plus 4.
This doesn't stuff on cameras.
It's a worksheet. It's up front. So, first step is to do what?
Put 6x plus 14 is y.
Mm-hmm. So do 6x plus 14 equals x plus 4. Okay, do what you need to do to solve that for x. I'll let you work it out. Okay, so what do I want to do first?
X equals use 214.
Subtract x. I could have subtracted 14 first. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do both of them in the same step. Let's see if you follow this. So I know I'm going to put my x's over on the left, so I'm going to move the x over. I want my numbers over on the right, so I'm going to subtract 14. Just kind of saves me a little bit of paper, a little bit of writing to do them both in the same step, since I know all the x's need to go one way, all the numbers need to go the other. So let's see, what do I have? 5x. Those cancel. These cancel. And I have negative 10. Divide by 5. So x equals negative 2. Which equation do you want to plug that into to solve for y? Do the second one? Okay. So now in place of the x, we're going to put a, not -2, right? So we'll have y equals -2 plus 4, or y equals +2.
And I can use the other equation, so
Oh,
we're
yeah,
at
we do.
So your solution is the point -2, 2. Now what do I need to do? Check it. I'm going to use the first one since I already used the second one. So in place of the y, it's +2. In place of the x, it's -2. Make sure you get them, the y in for the y and the x in for the x, because they kind of usually will be kind of changing sides when we do them like this. So -6, or +6 times -2 is -12. Bring that down, and it does check. So I would say that this is a good solution for this system. It didn't take quite as much space as I did the first time. You know, maybe a half a page, right? Definitely, you have to be careful with these. Make sure that you're paying attention to detail and don't make any mistakes along the way. So, if you haven't grabbed a worksheet from up front, can somebody from each area grab some for their group?